Hi guys, welcome back. I decided to change my YouTube channel name to History in Your Hands. I think it's pretty good. This is part 2 of my series on how to collect ancient coins. I'll be going over on auction houses. I wanted to go over on why we use them, the benefits versus retail, plus tips on how to be competitive in auctions to try and win your bid. So let's go ahead and get started. So why do we use auction houses? The main reason is it benefits both the seller and the buyer. For buyers, it allows you to dictate the price you're willing to pay for. You can potentially score a really good deal. Or if you're selling, it's possible that it can go for a really strong price if multiple people are competing for it. Now you may be asking on why an auction over retail. As retail, you can literally purchase the coin right there, right now. Which is true, but in retail, the dealer dictates the price, which might be fair or it might be overpriced. Normally, there's better quality coins for sale in auctions as well, especially in catalog auctions, which I'll be going over in this video. And I mean better quality as in better grade, plus coins that you sometimes would never see or very rarely see in retail. So here's a list of what I will be going over. The first is where to find auction houses. I'll show you 2 aggregate websites that I'll put on screen soon. Then I'll briefly go on what is the difference between catalog auctions and e-auctions. Third, I'll be going over auction house locations because there's auction houses all over the world. And most importantly, I'll go over the auction house terminology, like what is a buyer's premium and what is proxy bidding. I'll also show you how to register for an auction firm. And lastly, I'll show you how to be competitive, and I'll show you my strategy on bidding. So on screen, I have the aggregate Numis bids. This is my favorite one to use. I think it's the easiest to see. So you have 2 sides right here. You have printed auctions, which is catalog auctions, and then you have e-auctions. And here's the dates that you can see in the month. It's pretty good. And then you have also auction results right here of past auctions. This can be super helpful as you can see past hammer prices, so you can see just the overall feel for the market. So the second aggregate website is Bidder. Bidder's pretty good. I personally don't like them as much as Numis bids, but what I like about them the most is actually the auction firm's location, which can be actually really helpful, especially if you need to calculate things like shipping cost. Also, some auctions actually use Bidder as their bidding platform. Like, for instance, if you highlight this one right here, it says live bidding on Bidder. That means that they use them as the bidding platform. There's some other ones like this one, or this heritage one, where it says live bidding external. You most likely have to go to the website to bid, but I believe some of them you can use Bidder to bid on coins, but I believe that it costs a certain percentage on the hammer price. I believe Numis Bids has it as well. I'm not actually sure. Yep, it says bid on this lot. I believe they charge a fee as well, but I have not used that yet, so I cannot comment on it. And the last aggregate one that I know of is 6bid. I don't really use them like ever, so I don't really know how well they are, but if you're interested in it, you can just check them out. So the difference between printed auctions, catalog auctions, might call it feature auctions, is that it's actually live at their actual auction house location. You can still bid online and on telephone and all that, but the big difference between that and e-auctions is they typically have better quality coins, typically the best of the year, possibly some super rare ones, and so it usually drives the price up as well. Also, that the buyer's premium is a little bit higher than the e-auctions, but I will get into that soon. To find the location of the auction, Bidder has, like I said, is pretty good. It tells you where they're at. But if you want to use Numis bids, you can just click on their auction, and then you do sale details right here. Scroll down and you'll see contact details. Like this one's in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And so if you go back right here, let's check out Hirsch right here. If you do the same thing, scroll down, a little bit different looking, but here it's in Germany. So that's how you can tell. So I'm going to go over probably the most important when you're actually bidding in auctions is the terminology. Like, what is a buyer's premium? A buyer's premium is basically the additional cost on top of the hammer price. You can kind of see where the buyer's premium is in the terms of sale. It'll usually say somewhere like 25%, like this one for written ones. Or 22.5 for floor bids, or if you're doing it online. I don't know why there's a difference right there. It's kind of weird, but they typically do that. But for instance, like this, let's say this lot 2 right here does go for this $1,500 US. You have to pay an additional 22.5% on top of that hammer price, and that does not include shipping. And the next thing that you guys want to know is, let's say I have Heritage right here that I'm going to be participating in. First of all, their main website, main page sucks really bad. They need to fix that. It's really hard to find the actual online catalog. But I actually have recommended right here. I actually have this one saved, so I'm just going to pull this one up as an example. See that you see a bid already for this. I did not pay this. This is someone else's bid. But this is what they call a pre-bid. And that means that even though this lot isn't coming up for quite a while, you can still technically bid on it. I don't know exactly why they do that. I think it's just kind of get a feel for what the coin is kind of gonna go for. But usually it goes for like a lot more than what the pre-bid usually goes. Then next you have live proxy bidding. What that means is if you put let's say you put your max in, which let's say $3,000. So you put $3,000 in the proxy bid, and then when the auction lot actually comes up, it will bid on your behalf. I personally don't like that. Some people don't trust it, including myself. I want to actually be there when it happens. But if you are, let's say, absent, you can actually put in a proxy bid and it'll bid on your behalf. Let's say that the underbidder, which means the person who did not win the coin, only did $2,500, even though you put in $3,000 as a proxy bid, you'll win it at the next bid, so it'd be probably $2,600. That's how you can tell. And the last, of course, is live bidding, which I prefer, which means when this lot actually is coming up for auction, like this is the one that is up right now, you can bid on it yourself, and you do increments and all that stuff. Now, when you do live bidding, each auction firm does it slightly different. I actually really like Heritage's live bidding service. It allows you to have, a few extra seconds to, bid. It's like a traditional auction is how I kind of see it if you ever go to one live. Even as their e-auction like this one is right here. CNG is, at least their e-auctions, has a timer on it. So let's say you go right here in this CNG, let's just do an e-auction. You have this first right here, and let's say that's you at $150, and then someone else bids one increment higher. You can actually have about 9 seconds to respond to that. So you can either let it go or bid on it. Then you have others, which I actually really do not like bidding on, is like Loy right here, which I have done before. There is a timer that you see right here. It says time left. Once that timer's out, that's it. Like, so a lot of times, let's say it goes for this 1,200 Swiss francs, and then 4 seconds before the lot ends, it'll jump up to like 4 times the amount. It's kind of annoying, but it's just something you just have to watch out for. Like I said, each auction house is different. So let's say you find a coin that you want and you want to participate in that auction, and you never bid on that platform before. What you're going to need to do is create an account with that website. Let's, for instance, CNG. You'll create a account, then you'll register to bid. And then they'll email you actually for references. What that means is that they want to see if you've bought in coins previously. The more references that you can provide, the more you're allowed to spend. But if you've never done it before, which is maybe your first time, all you have to do is just email them saying, hey, I don't have any references. This is my first time. And then they'll say, okay, they'll typically give you allowance. It typically won't probably be very high, maybe $500, maybe $2,000 at most. And then you're allowed to actually bid in that auction. CNG is a little bit different, where you actually have to register for each type of auction. Unlike, like, for instance, Loy, you register with them. They'll ask for a reference as well, but then all future auctions you can bid on. You don't have to register each time. So one way to be competitive in actually trying to win the lot is kind of takes some research to do. Like, for instance, I will be at least trying to get this coin. It's pretty nice. I really like it. It's going to be really expensive, so pray that doesn't go above what I'm thinking of. So one way you can do it is kind of research on what were the past prices. I actually like to use AC search. There's also coin archives. I don't really use them that often. It's pretty rare. A lot of people really like it, but I like AC search more. I actually really highly recommend paying for a subscription. I believe it's $100 a month or like 80 euros or something like that. And what is cool about it is they'll actually show you past auction prices. Like, for instance, I'm going to log in here, and then I'm going to type in probably what that coin was called, Ionia. So I'm going to type in, I believe I looked it up already, Ionia, Herculea Tetradrachm, and then I'm just going to press search. You can do a date as well. I'm actually going to do that to maybe last couple of years. And then I'll go ahead and do apply. And see how you can see the, this is the auction. So like Numismatic Ars Classica or NAC, CNG. And you can see the prices. If you do not pay, you cannot see these prices. That's why I recommend it. There's a way to kind of look at it with if you don't pay, but it's kind of annoying. Like, you have to go to, if you just type in CNG Triton, then you look for that specific Triton in Numis bids. Then you can search for that lot. Then you can see the hammer price. But this just allows you just to easily skim through it. And for instance, like, you see all these, they're all going for, like, this one just sold a few months ago. What do I think of this one? Let's see, I'm going to pull it up. It's just as nice as the one I'm bidding for. So this is probably going to be a good price that I'm going to be going for. Like, there's a few other ones that you can see here. That's probably just as good. But then I want to see what's the difference between the quality of the highest ones and the ones that, one that is going up for auction. It's like, for instance, this one's probably going to go for probably around 5,000 to 6,000 hammer. That's my guess. And that's my main strategy for actually trying to win the lot. I actually have a set price in my head, and I will not go above that price that's set in my head. I know some people have issues with, competition. They like the competition or whatever reason, maybe even gambling addiction. But you just got to keep strong with your price and then just don't get carried away with it. So let's say you win the lot for, let's say, this coin for $5,000. So once that it'll actually say that you won. Once that happens, you have to wait a few days. Some auction firms are a lot worse, like Lloyd, takes weeks. You'll get an invoice through email, then you're gonna have to pay. There's a couple ways to pay, but I won't be getting into that. And it'll be charged the extra 22.5%. So I'm just gonna take out my calculator, and then I'm just gonna type in, let's say 5,000 plus 22.5% right here. So that's the total price that I'm gonna have to pay. Now, since CNG is in the United States and so am I, the shipping is going to be pretty cheap. My guess is probably $30 or so. I'm not sure. But if you are out of country, it's going to get a lot more expensive. So you just got to watch out for that. Also, if things are coming from Europe, let's say Loy, which they are, I believe they're in Switzerland, you have to watch out for, when you're importing it, is tariffs. Now, that's a new thing. I don't think there's really any way you can get around it. usually you get charged about 10%. That's pretty much the baseline what you're going to get charged. Sometimes it's higher. You just got to watch out for. I recommend, as a person from the United States, just to stick with the United States auction firms, at least for now. And another thing you have to watch out for if you're bidding from outside the country is conversion rates. So for instance, I won this coin right here. It went for 1,400 Swiss francs, but in reality, I had to pay, and so it says, if you highlight this right here, it says 1764. That's the current one. It was really expensive for this coin because I had to pay the conversion rate on top of the buyer's premium and the shipping rate plus the tariffs. Ended up being almost twice as expensive what this hammer price is. So it's something you have to really consider when buying coins from outside your currency range. One thing I don't recommend is buying coins that are very cheap. Like for instance, if you're just going to buy just this one coin here at this Eidmar auction for 20 euros, I think you're just wasting your money because first of all, you're going to have to pay for the buyer's premium and also shipping, which might be more than the coin itself. I recommend just getting it through retail for small things like that. Now, if you have 30 of these coins that you're going to be bidding on, that's a little bit different story, but that's just one thing I really recommend is not buying cheap coins in auctions or very common ones as well. So that'll be it for this episode. I think I covered just about everything. If there's some questions that you might have, please leave it in the comments because I may have actually forgotten something. But that'll be it for the auction part of the series. I want to go over probably attributions and how to just see what is the difference between Greek or Roman coins, vice versa, medieval coins, all that stuff. So stay tuned for that. Thank you guys so much.